Friday, the 9th of April. Welcome to Friday with Beer. Smoke them if you got them, drink them if you got them. It's that kind of day today. It's been that kind of week, to be honest with you. Today, homemade coffee with a little bit of vanilla in it and a bottle of water. No booze today. How's everybody doing? If you're in the chat room, say hello. If you're not in the chat room, as usual, don't. What am I going to talk about today? What am I going to talk about? That's right. I've got some things to talk about. I'm going to talk about Evil Genius 2 briefly. I'm going to talk, as we discussed as a group on Tuesday, Sony and Microsoft. Microsoft making all the snazzy moves. Sony not seeming to do anything. We're going to talk about that. Watch the latest Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Très bien. Good show. I'm not going to spoil it. And I got to say, if you liked the Winter Soldier movie and if you liked Civil War, this is right up your alley. It's got that vibe. Can't go wrong. What else was I going to talk about? Obviously, rest in peace, DMX. He passed away this morning, my age. Had a heart attack. And unfortunately, he didn't recover. And look, I'm not gonna say I was a huge fan of DMX. I was aware of his music. Never really was something I watched on listened to on a regular basis. So that was obviously sad news for him, for his family to lose anybody. 50 is quite young. And then you look at the flip side of that and you see that Prince Philip passed this morning, the husband of Queen Elizabeth II at the age of 99. That's a tricky one to talk about because, look, I'm not a big fan of the royal family. I think I've said that before. Not a big fan of them. Simply because I think it's an outdated concept. I think it just reeks of privilege. I think that nobody should have that much money when kids are going to school hungry and are living on the street and so on and so forth. Prince Philip leaves a very interesting legacy, checkered to say the least. Some incredible gaffes over the years, some really stupid shit came out of his mouth. Doesn't it all? But apparently he also did some very, very interesting and worthwhile work. So, yeah. By the way, interesting experiment today. I have not tweeted out about that I'm online today. So let's see. Let's go to my channel. Let's see if I am actually. Yes, I am streaming. According to this, I'm streaming and nobody's watching. So there you go. Isn't that great? So I didn't tweet out because I tweeted this morning about Evil Genius, and I'm going to follow up that now. But I'm going to take a break for a couple of days off Twitter in general and Instagram, and there's been a huge outbreak of, not a huge outbreak. It's been going on for fucking years. Racism aimed at soccer players in the UK. Any person of color in the UK, to be honest with you, but predominantly soccer players. It's happening in my hometown club, Swansea City, who've actually started a boycott of social media as of yesterday, and they won't be doing anything for a week. All their players, management, executives, staff, and the club in general. A couple of other clubs have joined in. Liverpool, after Tuesday's defeat, people attacked Sadio Mane, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Naby Keita with racist emojis on Instagram, which is not fucking acceptable. no matter what your issues are with the player's performance, of which those 3 players did not have good games, you never bring their race into it. You can basically say, I had a problem with your performance as a professional footballer, but you don't turn around and drop the banana emoji or the monkey emoji or whatever. And it's getting fucking ridiculous that we're having to talk about this week in, week out. We're having to talk about this with regards to Asian Americans, being attacked. And this taps into the 6 days in Fallujah thing, because people are calling for a boycott of that now. Obviously, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and people are talking about boycotting, and that Sony and Microsoft should drop 6 days of Fallujah, not allow it on their system, that Steam shouldn't let it on their system, and shouldn't sell it. Because it's, and as we've talked about before, because it's, it's based on real world events, and it's covering what are technically, what is technically, war crimes. I mean, there's, we know that the Iraq War was not a valid war, because, history has shown what's been going on. What does irk me, and look, the people who are saying this shouldn't be released, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. The people with a genuine opinion, and people who are looking at this from, this is only providing one side of the story. People suffered. Kids are still being born with birth defects years later. That is a valid opinion. That is a viewpoint, not an opinion. It's a viewpoint. It's facts. So here's my problem with the hypocrisy in the games media, and in media in general, because let's face it, they all love a bit of controversy because it's clickbait. But the games media, for years, has given passes to World War II games, World War I games, Vietnam games, Korean War games, where you can play as either side, whether they be strategy simulation, whether they be FPS shooters, whether they be flight sims, tank sims. These have been bread and butter of the video game world, PC especially, since the first fucking computer was ever built. War games, that's what people play. Strategy simulation. Oh, it's like chess, but it's set in a real world theater. And everyone's like, oh, best game ever, amazing, wonderful, beautiful graphics. Call of Duty, Battlefield. Let's just look at these. Counter-Strike, there's this map. Oh, isn't this wonderful? Blah, 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 blah. And it's fucking hypocrisy. Because anytime anything's based on a real world conflict, the media needs, because this is a smaller developer, and like I said, I'm not defending the developer, because, it is based on something that's really problematic. But guess what? For a lot of people, World War II was fucking problematic. The conflict, first Gulf War, all fucking problematic. And the fact that the games media are so happy to suck at the tit when it comes to Battlefields or Call of Duty, because they're big iconic games, and they're going off into different environments, and it's not just about real world stuff. And what got me thinking about this? Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I've been playing the game a fair amount, and you play as a Viking invading England or Britain. And I've got to a section, and for the first time as a video game player, I experienced a section where you go up against the Britons. Now, the Britons is basically the Welsh people in this Assassin's Creed game. And it involves slaughtering as many Welsh men as possible, including princes and soldiers and so on and so forth. That made me so uncomfortable for the first time playing. I mean, look, I've been uncomfortable playing video games before. As I get older, I tend to think more about things. For example, having to kill animals in Far Cry and skin them gratuitously starts to get on my nerves. Don't like having to do it. Unless the animal's attacking me. But to experience this of, oh, I'm killing my countrymen while playing a character. Yes, I know it's a fictional game, but these things actually happened. And it's amazing to step outside the mindset a white European guy or American guy, because let's face it, we've been those little spats at the very beginning, and to the perspective of somebody killing of your nationality, and it makes you think. And I'll be honest, playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I kicked the ass of a lot of English guys, and not being English, couldn't give two fucks about it. But then it started to make me think, and so it's interesting how the Western media, and I'm talking about the Brits and the Americans in particular, are perfectly happy to, play games about the Korean conflict and Vietnam and blah, 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 World War I, World War II, and not really say anything. And then something like this comes up, and now we're going to say something because somebody else has made a stand. And I just wish they'd be a bit consistent. I mean, personally, I'm sick of fucking war games. The war shooters, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, 1914, whatever, the different versions that are World War II. It's just a very strange, it's put me into a strange frame of mind. And it's very, 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 yeah, it's just, I don't know where I'm going with this. You've joined me in my sort of like stream of consciousness here. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe you have thoughts on this. Maybe you've experienced something similar. But you get where I'm coming from. It's really fucking hard to think this out and present a way that this is, this whole game, 6 Days of Fallujah, I'm confused about it because it's based on it. If it's only showing one perspective, and I think I did say this a couple of weeks ago, if it's only showing one perspective, the US perspective or the Allies perspective, then it's wrong. Needs to show both sides because that was an unlawful war. Anything, they should probably flip it the other way around. But no, you can't show it kill Americans, can you? Not in a combat game. No. It's fucking hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy. Are war games a problem? Should we ban all war games? Or are they covered? Are they freedom of speech? Are they freedom of expression? Are they allowed to take real world things and fudge with the facts? What do you think? Okay. Let's have a quick look at the chat room. Hi, Aperogon. Hi. Thank you. Thank you for joining. It's lovely to have people here. Evening, Steve. Hi, Mark. Yeah. I didn't see the tribute from Obama on the Duke of Edinburgh's passing. I saw, got up this morning, saw the news that both he and DMX had passed. So, I mean, obviously, when anybody passes, it's never a good thing. Well, I can think of some people who, when they pass, I'm going to have a fucking party, but there you go. Steve, what I say the thing for the GTA games? GTA. I mean, that's the thing. This is a can of worms. I'm putting this out there because I don't know the fucking answer. GTA is a fictional world. Yes, it's Liberty City, it's Vice City, it's San Andreas, which are Florida, New York, LA. But they are fictional cities. These are total works of fiction. But again, I mean, it really does. This is a fucking a rabbit hole you can get into. That a worm can of. I mean, it's really, really interesting with regards to where you draw the line. I mean, yeah, I'm totally flummoxed because does GTA encourage violence, or does GTA, is it because it's total work of fiction? I mean, shit, I don't know. I really don't know. Very strange. Okay. Sorry about the snuffling, by the way. Carlos, any thoughts on the news of The Last of Us being remade? Yeah, I actually saw Jason Schreier's article on Bloomberg this morning, and very, very good article, by the way. And I think this will tap into what I'm going to talk about in a little bit with regards to Sony. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Mark Simpson says, as an expat for many years, but with strong ties to the UK, can you see HRH continuing to rule without Philip by her side? Should she abdicate and pass the throne to Charles? I don't think she'll ever abdicate to Charles. Okay, am I not getting? It's interesting. I'm not getting all the text. Okay. Oh, RP Genius, you having a Okay, I'm for some reason, if you're getting this, not all the chats are coming through. Thankfully, I've got I actually opened Twitch because I'm not getting all the Twitch chats. So RPG, enjoy your drink. You're totally excused. I wish I was off having a drink too. God, I miss going out to the pub soon. Yeah, I don't think the Queen will abdicate to leave to Charles, because Charles, nobody likes Charles. But again, honestly, I'd like to see the monarchy just fade away. Maybe it ends with her and everybody else has to go off and get jobs or form charities, run them, turn the palaces into museums, take the money and start, making sure that people who need it get money. It's an outmoded thing in my mind. I know there's this fascination. Everybody says, "Oh, they bring so much money in." Well, the thing that brings so much money in is the pomp, the circumstance, the ceremony, but also the castles and the palaces. So turn those into museums. Let people come and see those, but maybe let it pass with the Queen. Who knows? Okay, so. Pyrogon. So I'm sorry I didn't see your double text, your multiple messages. For some reason, it's not coming through. Raypad's asking, do I think most works of art have multiple perspectives? Some do, but some do. I mean, that's the thing. Nothing is black and white anymore. Understandably so. I mean, nothing has ever been black or white. There are shades of gray. I mean, it does. Are games works of art? Are they pieces of art? Are they artistic statements? Is Pong an artistic statement, or is GTA, or is The Last of Us, or is Two Brothers, or was it the Brothers game, or God of War, Arkham Asylum? Is that a work of art? Is that a piece of artistic statement? I mean, it gets really, really fucking tough to figure out what's what. And let's face it, you can go round and round in circles, because every point I could make, you could make a valid counterpoint, and vice versa. I mean, this is why alcohol was invented. This is why the best philosophers are all alcoholics, because they sit in pubs and they fucking argue with people, generally while pickling the love of booze. And of course, I'm obviously being anyway, all right, sorry. Let me just. I'm going to go boom, 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 boom. Sorry, Marcus, but what you ask for the UK people cannot happen without a sympathetic government. Is it? Yes. Well, let's face it. I mean, the Conservative. I'm sorry, we're just going back and forth here, and this is the last thing I'm going to say on it. We're going to have to move off. The Conservative government, it's in their best interest to keep the monarchy, because the Conservative government in general come from. And I am having stream issues again. Sorry about that. Fucking sucks. Spectrum fucking mobile yet again. Oh, Spectrum internet again. I am so sorry about that. I need a fucking drink. I told you I needed a drink. All right. Where was I? All right. To finish off on the royal family thing. Conservative government is committed to upholding the silver spoon upper class system, because that's where they all come from. They come from money, and they want the money to stay in the pockets of the rich. They don't want the working class, the majority, to be educated, to be smart, to have ideas above their station, which is why we see 0-hour gigs, the 0-hour economy, the contract economy. This is why schools are underfunded. This is why kids are going hungry, because if you're hungry, you can't concentrate, you can't learn shit. This is why when you look at the upper class, the schools like Cambridge and Oxford, etc., they are full of rich fucking kids. And no, the Tories will never, ever want the monarchy to go because it suits them. Disband the monarchy, disband the House of Lords, and people of Britain, start voting for your own fucking best interests, not for the interests of minority. It's like here in the States, where we have people voting for their own worst enemy. They're voting against healthcare. They're voting against the living wage because they listen to idiots on Facebook, on social media, on Twitter, on Restream. Vote for what's best for you, not because some fucker says, oh, if you have this, well, those dark-skinned people, they'll have it too. It's like, you know what? Great, the dark-skinned people can have it, and I can have it, and we can all be happy. You know who shouldn't be having it is the rich fuckers telling you shouldn't be having it. So, yes. Ooh, now I got a little bit wound up. Obviously, when my stream goes out, I really get pissed. So, yeah. There'll be another conversation with fucking Spectrum Internet again. And look, I mean, I'm beholden. There's nothing I can do. I don't have fiber here. I mean, I live in a suburb of Los Angeles. I'm in LA County, for God's sake. And the fact that I don't have a decent cell signal here, and I don't have a decent internet signal. That's fucking America. This is what happens when you have Ronald Reagan and his bunch of cunts, pardon the language, turning around and destroying all regulatory powers and letting capitalism run unfettered. We need regulation. We need responsibility. We need people to suffer the consequences when they don't deliver what we pay them to do. And that's it. Fucking state-owned broadband. That's what I say. Let everybody have fucking broadband. T5 lines for everybody. Woo! Steve, I'd say that the new Labour leader, Keir Starmer, actually, he seems quite a smart guy. I like him certainly better than Jeremy Corbyn. And look, I am available to come back, take charge of the Labour Party, and start the revolution. Anyway, all right. Sorry about that. Now, I hope the streams will stay nice and so it's nice and solid for the rest of this show, no matter how long this show will actually be. All right. Okay. Every argument with regards to video games causing violence is total fiction. No, I'm not arguing about that. I'm not arguing. Look, I know as a XPR guy, I've been involved in the research. I've read the research. Video game violence does not cause violence. We know this. But can it cause prejudicial views? Are people getting programmed to be more, be less tolerant of other nationalities and skin tones because of movies, video games, media in general. And I think that's an interesting thing. If playing video games combined with a bit of a wind-uppy temperament, if they could, those things combined to make a violent person, you'd probably be looking at the guy who'd be violent. But I'm not a violent person. I've never had the urge to go and, thankfully, to go and do something stupid. Never had the urge to totally cuss out somebody because of the color of their skin, or use whatever epithets. Look, I'm not a great person. I think I'm an okay person, but I think so. That's the problem. Video game violence does not beget violence in real life, but does the whole thing desensitize us? That's interesting, because somebody did actually share something this morning, not within the game space, but they watched a security video where 2 people were murdered in cold blood. And they were like, it was just like watching a movie. What the fuck? Why am I so desensitized? And that is a valid thing. Why are we so desensitized? Because there's been more mass shootings. So like I said, we could go off on all these tangents and really just fucking go to town for the next 6 months, which I'm not going to do. All right. Let's see. I'm hoping the stream is better on Twitch now. I'm getting green bars across the board. Okay. So, I'm wondering if it was Twitch. All right. So, what have we talked about? So, you know what I'm going to talk about now? Evil Genius 2. And we didn't talk about this yet, did we? Now, I've talked about Evil Genius 1. It came out just before I joined Vivendi. I loved the concept of the game. It's, that Dungeon Keeper-esque game, which is obviously Dungeon Keeper, one of my favorite games of all time. So when Evil Genius was announced a couple of years ago, very, very happy. Got a lot of time for the team at Rebellion. Good people there across the board. Plus they own 2000 AD, the comic. So yeah, got a lot of time and love for those fine folks. And so didn't buy it when it came out. I have to be judicious with my purchases, but today I bit the bullet and I was like, you know what? The first one had its flaws, but overall I liked it. I'm going to go and I'm going to take advantage of the deal to get the DLC with it. Make an investment. So I got it, played it. Like 3 hours. Now, if you are a regular watcher of the stuff I've done over the years, you'll know I have a 3-hour tolerance limit for games. If you can't suck me in after 3 hours, I'm done. And I mean, this obviously makes it a little bit tricky because there are some games out there which, their first 3 hours of gameplay are actually 6 hours, 6 hours long because there's 3 hours of fucking movies in there, which is why I don't like games like Yakuza and Final Fantasy. But anyway, I digress. Booted it up. Game's gorgeous. Game is gorgeous. Lots of attention to detail. It's got that kitschy, Our Man Flint, James Bond, Austin Powers-y kind of thing. And that's all glorious. It's got that little bit of sense of humor, which works as well. And it's got potential. Unfortunately, there was a problem for me with the first Evil Genius in that they didn't really seem to think about making the game really accessible. They didn't think about little things like making the keybinds a little more intuitive. I call it Dungeon Keeper mode. Let's face it, if Dungeon Keeper is the gold standard for the genre that you're talking about doing a game for, you would look at something like Dungeon Keeper and say, what works here? Let's see if we can use it without, throwing out our artistic vision for the game. And if they'd done that, particularly for the camera controls, this would be a much better game. The game is fussy as fuck. It seems to be... sorry, I really should turn off the fucking chat overlay here because people making suggestive comments, ridiculous. The game is fussy, as I said. It holds the game back. There's no flow to it. It's like you've got this one mission. Now you've done this. You've built your vault. Now you're going to build your barracks, and now you're going to build your power system, and then you're going to build your canteen for your, which is all part and parcel of the game. But it's like, oh, guess what? You're going to also, you're going to buy something to put inside the room, and you're going to need to flip it to put it up against the wall or use this better. To flip it, you're going to need to click the mouse wheel and then move your mouse, which also has the double effect of spinning the fucking camera around because it's not been thought through. And then you go into the keybinds, you look at the keybinds, and you can't really use the keybinds properly. And then you look at, all right, well, hang on. So basically, if I click on this room, I then have to click on one menu and then click on a room and then a secondary menu of things to go in the room, and there's a tertiary menu for decorating the room. I'm like, come the fuck on. I've got this huge amount of real estate space on my screen. I am focused on one particular little area. I can zoom in, zoom out, which is great. But I've got the same banal shit over here where I'm turning that tooltip off because it's just so annoying. And then I've got all this space. You're taking the lower third. You couldn't put stuff on the side there to maybe narrow the actual, the vertical as opposed to horizontal, and give me a list of different things to drop into the room when I click on the room and not have to click on 2 or 3 subset menus. And then, of course, there's the map menu, and then I click on this for the map menu. And it just got so annoying that I did something that I haven't done in a long time. I actually regretted paying for Evil Genius and the DLC because I knew I wouldn't have the patience to spend getting through the issues in Evil Genius 2. And it's really disappointing to me to get value for money out of it and then revisit when they do the DLC. So you know what I did? I requested a refund from Steam. And I said, the game is too fussy. It's not fun. I would never use the DLC in its current form. And Steam approved the refund. I mean, I just, thankfully, I could, I could get, I mean, that was $60. That's a shit ton of fucking money. And I will say that I'm very sorry, Rebellion, but I think I'm going to call bullshit on the reviews because the people who have been reviewing this game either have a tolerance level that is biblical, what makes a good fucking game? When you have this great content and why? Because you insist on being persnickety and being fussy with the control system, then your game not going to do well. So maybe when they tweak that control system, maybe I'll go back to it. But I'm really disappointed. It's gorgeous. It's funny. It's got so much potential. I don't want to play it because of the god-awful control and camera system. And I'm not the only one. You go online and you say, you search for it, and the camera system is getting so many complaints. And yet the reviews are still coming in. Very, very nice reviews. There's a disconnect somewhere. What the fuck? Oh, so yes, I can't recommend Evil Genius 2 because it's got the same problems as Evil Genius 1. That nostalgia had, and the eons of time and the heart attack and the coma and all that, they'd really sort of like pushed those things into the back of my mind. And then once I started playing the game today, it all came flooding back, and I was like, fuck no, not again. I'd rather go back and play Dungeon Keeper 2 for the 150,000th time, thanks to Good Old Games for $3.99. There you go. Good morning, Pontius Rodling. Yes, don't get old. Do not get old, people. You get old, your brain stops working as much, and you're like, what? Yeah, I can't do this. Like, if you're making a game like Dungeon Keeper and you're just changing the fucking, you want to make it into an Austin Powers-esque, James Bond-esque supervillain, great, do that. But you know what? Just fucking copy Dungeon Keeper. Reskin the fucking thing. Because the game got it right. And everybody says, oh, have you tried Dungeons? I have tried Dungeons. I think Dungeons 3 is the one that's closest. But they're still nowhere near as good as Dungeon Keeper. Dungeon Keeper is the fucking pinnacle. What Bullfrog did back in the day, mashed simplicity with great game design and beautiful writing and an evil sense of humor. And the game was gorgeous back in its time. And you could basically take that as the fucking template. But nowadays it's like, well, I've got to put our unique stamp on this from a design perspective. So yeah, let's fuck the camera up. But I want to put this thing into a room and I'll push it up against the wall. Oh, you can't fucking do that. Not without going over here to your other laptop and searching online for a fix that you can basically institute, or if there's a keyboard hotkey. And it still doesn't work. So, very disappointed. And I'm angry because I'm disappointed. Wanted this game to do well. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. All right. That was Evil Genius 2. Fucking sucks. Damn. I was looking forward to that game. I'm just going to go back to, what else am I playing? Oh, I did buy, because it was on sale, Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. Played it on the PS4 a long time ago. Loved it. Don't play on the PS4 anymore. PS4 old, but I got to say, it's gorgeous. It was on sale with all the DLC and everything. And, oh, it's gorgeous. Such a great game. So yeah, I totally recommend that to anybody. What else have I been playing recently? There was something else in there. Oh yeah, hang on, where is it? Stranded Deep. That's the game. Now this is a game I've seen pop up now and again. And it's basically deserted on a desert island sandbox game where you get rocks, make axes, chop down things, build things, and it's just there's two modes. You can play multiplayer mode, but you can also play a single player where things can kill you and you get hungry. It's survival mode, and I fucking hate survival mode. I hate having to eat and drink in a video game. So there are rumors that the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to stick survival mode in. Let me just say no. Fuck that. It's the same as I'm going to take a shit in a video game. Nobody wants it. Anyway, but there is there's also a sandbox mode to this this Stranded Deep. And this game was like $12.99 on the Epic Store. And it's a really good looking game. And it's just fun to tootle around these islands and just build stuff. And the way that you build stuff, way easier than fucking Fallout 76, by the way. But yeah, you pull stuff together. I've basically been corralling stuff on my little island and swimming and getting boxes and stripping stuff, getting scrap from wherever I can, stacking on little piles and getting together, build a tool belt to get more, get more spaces. And it's just fun. It's this game's been out for like 3 or 4 years. I think it's on the PS5 and the Xbox One X, but it's been out for a long time. It's been like an open beta and they keep on adding to it. And it's fucking wonderful value for money. It's so relaxing just to tootle around. Sometimes just to even sit there. It's like playing Castaway, the Tom Hanks movie. There's no Wilson, unfortunately. But I have had more fun with that $12, $13, $14 game than I have had with Evil Genius 2, than I've had with Control, and a lot of other games, to be honest with you. So yeah, if you haven't played that, play it on PC, high-end PC, it's fantastic. So yes. Sorry, just totally random. Look, Mark, I've got Elite Dangerous. Hang on. There you go. Whoop. Look, see, it's right there. Elite Dangerous is installed. The problem with Elite Dangerous is I fucking suck at it. Again, nostalgia. I used to love playing Elite on the BBC Model B in school before most of you were born, 1982, 83. However, if my machine, my ship didn't have the auto dock, I'd crash. And I'm still suck at this game. And I'm the same with Squadrons. I don't know what it is about three-dimensional flight simulators, and I just lose my bearings completely. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So yes, I have it installed. I've tried to play every now and again. I'm like, I'm going to play this. And then I go, I'm fucking suck at it, but I'll leave it on my machine anyway. But yeah, so. Oh, well, Mark, there you go. You're old like me. Well done. Old people unite. This is the old people's chat video thing. Yes. All right. I'm not going to look. And again, Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen, they seem to be much for muchness as far as I'm concerned. Okay. So, let's get on to the main topic of conversation this week, or today, rather. Oh, and by the way, next time you see me, this will be gone. Get a haircut tomorrow. Finally. Mask, outdoors, shave the fucking thing off. Polish up the cue ball. Microsoft and Sony. Now, obviously, we started talking about this on Tuesday, and it was like, ching, this could be a good conversation to have if I do some research. And I've done a little bit of reading. But it's been a good few months for Microsoft. They keep on making announcements that people like. The acquisition of Bethesda finally came through. MLB The Show for people who like stickball. Last couple of days, news that people were thinking that the latest Kojima game was going to be a PS5 exclusive, and it turns out what they thought was the PS5 Kojima game isn't a Kojima game at all, because Kojima-san is in discussions with Microsoft for a game. Kojima Studios is probably going to do something for Microsoft, because Microsoft seemed to be all about acquiring as much content as possible to get onto their platforms, PC and Xbox, and also really making a dent or inroads into Japan. And more power to them. I mean, look, honestly, I don't see why they bother with Japan. Japan is fiercely Nintendo or Sony. That's it. I mean, Xbox has never made a dent there. But they keep on trying. But the point I'm getting at is that Microsoft have been making these moves and talking about these moves, and everybody's like, Microsoft, Microsoft, Microsoft. And Sony came out of the gates with the PS5, and it's like, thanks to the success of the PS4, PlayStation was back in the vernacular. PlayStation 5 was the must-have. Xbox Series X was not in that must-have list. And I think that is down a lot to Microsoft's fucking naming of the console. I think their branding, I know they're trying to stay consistent, but it's just not as sexy as the PS5. PS5 is a sexier machine. Looks sexier, sounds sexier. That's just it. Sorry, fight me on it. But what Microsoft have done since, well, I've actually been just steadily doing, it's very smart. It's all well and good having the sexier machine that everybody wants. But if you can't fucking play games on it, and you don't have a wide variety of games on it, what's the point in having the sexy machine? The moves that Microsoft are making, obviously great for Xbox gamers, for Xbox Games Pass. For PC gamers, I mean, I saw this week that last week that Outriders was part of the Games Pass, and Sony players were all up in arms because all they got was fucking Avengers. That was like on their streaming service because Sony can't get this. And Sony bought a streaming service. Was it Gaikai? I think it was back in 2012, 13, and fucking did nothing to them with them because they were, they were going to do streaming. They were going to do this. They're going to do that. And so Sony, I think Sony have suffered with exactly what they did on the PS3. It's the hubris is back. We're number one. I mean, the beauty of the PS4 was they said, we did some shit wrong. We're learning from it. We're going to have a more Western feel. The games, the PlayStation core team are going to be based out of the US. It's going to be an easier to develop for console. We're going to aggressively court third party. And they did everything right. And the PS4 was a fantastic console, still is. And they obviously the launch lineups for both of the last gen consoles not great, but then the PS4 developed into boom. We got this, we got that, we got this, and it was the game the console I played the most in the last generation was the PS4. The previous generation, it was 360 until about the last 18 months when I switched to PS3 because people were finally getting the hang of programming for the PS3 and it had some cracking games come out towards the end. But PS4, hands down, last generation, best console. It seems with the PS5, they've gone back to their PS3 times. They're making decisions that don't seem to make any sense. Obviously, they're shutting down the stores for the Vita, for the PS3. These games are going to vanish, which I think is a stupid thing to do when you can basically, if you're smart, you'll release on the PS5 an emulator for PS3, PS2, PS1, PSP, and Vita games. You'll drop that emulator for free, and you'll offer a subscription service of $6 to $8.99 a month where people can play all those fucking games whenever they want. That is a money-making idea. Sony, however, I don't think they're going to go for it. Then there's this Last of Us remake that was supposed to be done out of San Diego by Sony's technology team that was formed and then disbanded. Sony seem to be they seem to be at a crossroads. They don't know which way they're going. The Last of Us remake apparently is going to be now done at Naughty Dog because I think it was there was another dev studio who were involved. They didn't want to work on it, and now it's been shuttled back there. I don't see the point in the Last of Us remake already because the game was great. Last of Us 1. Didn't play Last of Us 2. Last of Us 1 was a great game. Does it need a remake? No, just make the fucking game compatible on the PS5. Boom, sorted. If you want to remake stuff, remake the classic older stuff. Or if you want to do something, release that fucking emulator. You've got hundreds and hundreds and thousands, even of games that people will be happy to plug in and play on their PS5s because you've got an emulator. I'd give them $5-6 a month if I could get a PS5. I don't know what's up with Sony. Are they waiting for E3 to make some big announcements? They're going to have their state of play. And unfortunately, their state of play, it's literally turned into just a fucking state. Sony is in a state. Sony is 86ing the stores for those old games. And now apparently they're advertising to have a head of mobile gaming because they now want to put their games, their franchises back onto cell phones. What the fuck's the point? And look, cell phone, new cell phone. In fact, we switched carriers. So I'm lucky enough that I've got an iPhone 12 Max because they had a special deal, but we switched carriers because we had to because Verizon sucks. I don't want to play PlayStation games on my fucking thing, whether it be PSP, PS1, PS2, PS3. I would happily pay to have Infamous on my PS5 or on my PC. make that emulator software free and make it something that people can play on their PC. How much fun would that be? And because it's an emulator, all that the emulator does all the hard work. And look, I'm saying this as somebody who's a former PR guy and not a fucking engineering genius. So again, engineers in the audience, you guys are the smart guys. I'm just the mouth. But it would seem to me that if your emulator is doing all the work, then you don't really have to do much recoding on these games to get them to work in an emulator, because the emulator is recreating the fucking system in the first place. Maybe it's a file format change to work. But wouldn't it be great to have all these classic PS1, 2, 3, 3 games and the Vita and the PSP, and being able to use them and play them on a PC, play them on a laptop, play them on your PS5? Wouldn't that be fucking great? I'd certainly like that. Hands up if you'd like it. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with Sony. I mean, they're in danger of running out of gas because they may have all these machines out there, but if you've got no software for it, and Microsoft in the meantime is just going, well, we're busy supporting the PC market and we're busy supporting the console market, and we're now having more and more gamers come along and subscribe and give us an X amount, 10, 15, 20 bucks a month or whatever it is. And now we've got this partnership with EA, and so they can play FIFA and Madden and stuff like that on Xbox. So why would somebody look to buy a PS5 now when, oh, well, yeah, I can give you an Xbox Series X and I can pay for this subscription for you. I gifted this subscription for little, or not so little Johnny, Freddie, Brenda, whoever. Sony dropping the ball. Sony have been resting on laurels. Sony thought the sexy was going to get them through it. And look, we have always had a bit of a slump when we're talking about launch titles. They're never great. Launch rosters for both systems, never great. We start to see in the spring and summer after a console launches, that's when we start to see the sexy stuff come out. And we will see sexy stuff probably from Sony over the next couple of weeks and months. But we will see just as much sexy stuff from Microsoft. And don't accuse me of being a Microsoft fanboy, all right? Because I'm fucking not. Don't like a lot of their fucking decisions. Where's my Fable 4, for fuck's sake? See, that's fun. Where's my Fable 4? No multiplayer shit. No fucking World of Fable bullshit. Give me Fable 4, voiced by Stephen Fry, written by somebody at Lionhead. Ex-Lionhead. That's what I want. But yeah, next couple of months are going to be interesting, because if it comes down to it, the big it of which console I'm going to buy first of the next gen consoles, or the current gen consoles, do I go with the one that has a shit ton of software? Do I go with the one that is sexier? I mean, for example, do I go with the one that complements my PC because I spent a lot of time playing PC games? Or do I go with the outlier? It's very interesting. Do I ask somebody if they want to swap my Switch for their for a console? Because that thing's still fucking gathering dust. Talk about buyer's remorse. At least I could say I bought one with my own money and I played some of the games on it, and yeah, I really don't like that. Okay. Mark Simpson, has Xbox got it right with Games Pass, and have Sony screwed up their vision trying to make a buck out of everything they have branding on? Yes, basically. I mean, do Sony have a fucking vision? That's the thing. Steve, I've got, like I said, I've got the Xbox app on this machine, on this PC, and it runs games so wonderfully. Pontius Rodling, I admit I haven't cared too much about this generation of consoles, but currently have no interest in getting. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to have to get one at some point. I just don't know, what I'm going to get. I'm going to get something that suits me. I'm not going to buy anything just to say, oh, I can talk about this. Mr. Enigma, I think I think I just talked about some of that, didn't I? That's shutting down the PS3 store. I mean, look, it's understandable why they want to shut down the store because it's probably taking up space and costs more money to run. If they were smart about it, though, they would allow people to play the products, allow people to buy them, or offer a rental, streaming service, whatever, like the Xbox Games Pass. And I'm going to say this for the last time, for all the old PlayStation games before PS4. And then in a couple of years' time, they add PS4 to that roster. You've got an ongoing multi-purpose emulator that can handle. Are you telling me this tech doesn't exist? It's a fucking $1 million idea. I mean, it's literally not rocket science. Do we have to spend $50 million to remake a game? Fuck no. Let's put all these games back out there and let's reach out to our partners, our third-party partners, who will want this code, these games out there too, because they can make a little extra buck. And it would be a great way to excite people for newer iterations, or if there is argument for a much bigger remake of something down the line, then great. But they sit down. Look, Microsoft can do the same fucking thing. I mean, and they have done. I mean, there are original Xbox games that were on their Xbox game service, for fuck's sake. And that is great. 360 games, so many 360 games. Get them on there, and they have been. And it's been great. Sony, wake the fuck up. And if anybody from what Sony is watching, reach out to me. My consultancy fees are very inexpensive compared to what you piss away on a lot of stuff. Oh, I'm never going to be invited to anything ever again. All right. So that was my thoughts. Can we have your weekly, monthly opinion on which console you buy as the console war progresses? Yeah, look, I won't get a console this summer. I'll probably get a new laptop before I get a new console. Yeah, I don't see the point. I'll get a console at some point when they're available. Maybe if there's a nice bundle deal. But till then, all right. So what's up with you lot? Talk to me, people. We've got a couple of minutes left. I've whittled and wobbled and chatted away. Yeah. Talk to me. Has anybody got any last questions? Did you know there's still regular play created for? Is that true, Mark Simpson? Did I know that there are regular player-created races still being organized in Forza Motorsport 4? Microsoft are desperately trying to kill them because the races because it puts their other Forza projects to shame. I didn't know that, but then again, I don't play driving games. I like driving, but I don't like playing driving games. But that's interesting. Microsoft needs to make a better Forza game. I'll call my friend who's worked on those things and say, do better work. He's actually fucking brilliant. Just such a brilliant guy. Yeah, he knows who he is. When I died, he flew down from Seattle, came down, sat by my hospital bed and talked to me while I was in a coma. So yeah, there are good people out there. You are good people, I'm assuming. Don't know you that well. All right. Stage Select. Have I talked about Oculus Quest 2 selling more in 6 months than all other Oculus headsets combined? No, because I'm pissed because I went and bought an Oculus fucking 1 and then the 2 came out. So I'm not talking to Oculus right now. So yeah, no, I'm not talking about that. But look, I think VR is still obviously the future. Yeah, I think VR is the future. I hope people support it. I hope software companies support it. I hope the tech comes down and the tech is lighter and easier to use and it's not as expensive. Yeah. And I hope they figure out a way that somebody like me who now wears glasses, I mean, it's like, oh, you have an extender that you put this and it pushes this out. And it's like, oh, it's still, oh, my glasses are on my fucking head. It would be nice. It worked easier for me. But I'm a big fan of VR. Always will be. I'm sure I've told you this story, but the very first experience I had with VR was back in the mid 90s. When I saw somebody using it for educational purposes. Obviously, that didn't last long. But the best experience I had was several years ago when I got a demo of Doom 3 on the Oculus prototype by somebody who's now working at Facebook in charge of Oculus and was originally at Bethesda. Who shall remain nameless, but that was just amazing. And I say any game that make any system, like, you know, the VR system made Doom 3 enjoyable and scary. That is why VR can work. If it can make a game that is as dull and predictable and badly made as Doom 3 was, I'm not talking about the new versions. I'm talking about the last older version of Doom. Then there's hope for that particular technology set. Why the Rage? Will I be attending the 2021 Ice Wall Come Beer Festival? No, I don't. I don't attend beer festivals. I am a fucking beer festival. Plus, you know, pandemic, and it's funny. My favorite beer I can't get here. It's called Brains SA. Can only get it in Wales. Can't get it in this country. Very upsetting. But thank you for asking why the rage. It's funny. The older I get, I'm actually less of a beer guy and more of a Scotch guy now. And I mean, again, bizarrely, it's strange how since I've turned 50 as well, I'm drinking less. Really annoying. I don't even enjoy the taste as much anymore, which is really upsetting because I used to be very good at drinking. Ranting Greek Gamer, good question. What do you think about Sony's decision to milk the Last of Us franchise and bury plans for a Days Gone sequel? So it was the Days Gone developer that was tasked with working on a Last of Us, I think, a remake. And they didn't want to do it, and the project that eventually got pulled back and dropped down at Naughty Dog. I'll be honest with you. Days Gone, and I bought the game, is gaming Marmite to me. It's one of those games that you either love or you really hate, and I just really hated it. So I'm not the guy, but a lot of people really did love it, and I can see why. But for me, it was just Marmite from the get-go. And not good Marmite. I love Marmite, but, you know, it was, let's see, it was Red Hots. Anybody in the US who has tried the Red Hot candy, which are basically like spicy cinnamon fucking shit. It's root beer. It's root beer. That's what it is. It's root beer. I can't fucking stand root beer. So, yes, I understand the dev teams wanting to go off and do their own thing. I think they are doing their own thing now. But again, it just goes to show that I think Sony is trying to shoehorn stuff in where it doesn't go. And when you see Microsoft becoming, Bethesda is working with us and we're doing this, and aren't we all lovely? And Kojima-san's talking to us and we're doing MLB the game on PlayStation, on Xbox Games Pass. And yeah, it's Sony have got need to have a banner summer this year. I'm not saying I'm saying they need to, because those consoles will start to gather dust. So if there's lax on the first 2 years, they've sold enough of the console that people will come back to it, providing they don't sell their consoles. That if Sony recover, which they generally do, they don't leave the funk go through a whole generation. They generally course correct. They're very good at course correcting, but they're also very good at taking one step forward and 25 back. So, yeah, I can understand wanting to milk the Last of Us franchise, especially when, you know, there's so many other franchises now that are moving to Xbox. I mean, let's face it, Doom, Fallout, Dishonored, The Elder Scrolls, they're going to be PC and Xbox. That's it. No matter what platitudes they say, they will, whatever deals that have been signed for games like Deathloop, they will be honored by Bethesda, but then Microsoft will turn around and say, well, we didn't fucking buy you to make games for PlayStation. I've said this is, it's a tricky situation. It sucks for the gamer. It would be very funny if Microsoft started putting out games on PlayStation. But it's, I think in the next 18 months, you will see Bethesda no longer make games for PlayStation. No diplomat would make a damn fine dictator. I would make a wonderful dictator. I'd be a benevolent dictator. I would be such a wonder. I would basically make sure everybody's fed, watered, everybody has access to education and the internet, and cuddles. Cuddles are just wonderful. Pontius Rodling picked up Borderlands 3, which I haven't done. I might actually spend some of my Steam refund on that, actually. On second thoughts, having just read that, no, I won't. I'll just go back to playing Borderlands 2, which is a great game. Yes, I am. Beer is my last name. I'm not a beer aficionado or a beer expert. I am just me, but I do drink beer. Mark Simpson, agony aunt uncle stuff here. All right, okay. Just met a girl from Neath Port Talbot who repairs motorbikes and loves demolition projects. Should you? At your age? I don't know. Come on. I mean, the Neath Port Talbot area produces many a fine individual, many a fine young lady or a lady, period. How about if you like her, you go for it. Have a cup of coffee, have a pint. See what happens. If she offers to blow up your house, run away. Anyway, so there you go. And look, Mark, if you're single at your age, just fucking go for it, man. You're never too old to be happy. What have you to lose? Unless she's a lunatic. She might be a fan of the Welsh All Blacks. Yeah, those are some hardcore netters. But yes, anyway. All right. Yeah, okay, that's the show for this week. 108. Yeah, I'll be back next week with a haircut. I'm going to start playing with the format for the next couple of weeks. Might drop down to actually, while it's quiet, drop down to one live stream a week, which will probably be on a Friday. Because obviously I want to still do stuff for the Patreon subscribers, and I also want to start recording some quick 5-minute rants, pre-record them, put them up on YouTube, and see if being able to put some intros and outros, etc., etc. So yeah, follow me on the Twitter as usual at Annoyed Gamer. If you fancy lobbing a couple of bucks my way via the Patreon, I'd be appreciative. If not, totally understand. All I care is that you people be safe, be good, be nice to each other. I'll catch up with you next week. If you are a Patreon subscriber, join me on the Discord, because I'm about to say hello over there. And it's the post-show Discord show.